want to say welcome, everyone. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm so excited for this one because we have our lovely Victoria, Victoria Taylor, who is a business mentor, entrepreneurial guru, financial wizard, and she has humbly volunteered her knowledge and her time, energy to give to us women so we can understand the power of money and how we could use it to harness and manifest the reality we want to. She'll be covering things such as debt and asset management, as well as income streaming. So have your questions ready. I've got my paper and pen. Get your paper and pen ready so you can take notes, because we're quite fortunate to get this information for free. So I appreciate you, Victoria. So let us honor the knowledge we're going to get today by getting our pens and paper ready. So welcome back to Women in Progress. This is our third session, and we do every second Thursday, every 2 Thursdays of each month, so we can come together as women and to talk about what is important to us in terms of progressing, developing, harnessing the powers that we have as women, as creators, as mothers, sisters, as part of the community, how we can better not only our lives, but our family life and our community altogether. So yes, thank you ladies for joining us today. This is happening because of the Pink Print Project, which is a community project that I've started, making wellbeing accessible to women in the community. So these aren't my clients that I do with coaching and therapy. This is for everyone that has the desire to access well-being, especially representation from the women of color background, from to make it more inclusive to also, Pink Print Project is hosting this. My name is Dion Williams. Hello, we have Victoria. Wave Victoria, our co-host tonight, and we have Sophie, and hopefully a few other women will be joining the call as it progresses. So as we always do, there's a after party, and we have 3 songs to choose from. If you can use the little hand icon on your mobile or your laptop. We used this last week and the week before, and just to vote on which song you want to do. So Sophie, just to let you know, there's a little hand icon. If you're on your mobile, just click the 3 little dots.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 little dots.
What, to do now or afterwards? Would you like?
I'm just showing you I'm just telling you where it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So you can then use it. So if you go 3 little dots at the right hand corner and you see raise your hand. Can you see it?
No. I just have my phone on the main homepage. I can't see the 3
Okay,
dots.
so for you, then you can verbally say I vote. So you have to unmute yourself and cast your vote that way then, okay?
Okay.
It's going to be a tight one because there's only 3 of us at this time. I might do another recount when more ladies join us today. So the 3 options, we're talking about money. We're looking at 3 songs by strong women of color who sings about money. So we have She Works Hard for the Money by Donna Summers. So you could possibly dancing out to She Works Hard for the Money by Donna Summers at the end, our after party. We have Cardi B with Money. I'm sure everybody knows that song. And we have a song called Oprah by Rhapsody and Likely 47, another rap duo, with Oprah being their role model of making wealth, generational wealth. So we have those 3 to choose from. I don't know if Victoria's gone, but maybe we do the voting after we've done the introduction. So I'll just start it off, and then Sophie, and then Victoria, she should appear back on the screen relatively quickly and soon. So, like I said, my name is Dion Williams. I'm here today because I believe in creating safe space for women, usually offline, but also online, where we can talk about our well-being, where I can help facilitate that with my background as a psychologist and as a coach. And I really can't wait to hear Victoria's talk tonight because I am looking to be financially free. Yes, honey, financially free. What about you, Sophie? What do you want to take away today and why you're here today? Why are you at this session?
Hi, everyone. I'm here because I really would like some help on financial. I want to gain some good advice for my finances to generate several streams of income, and I would just like to also gain some advice on investments. Like I have, I'm not ashamed to say, I'm 34, but I've always lived paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
And it's also something most people in my family, I would say 99% live that way as well. And I feel like as I get older, it's not just about enjoying the money, but I want to see the fruits of my labor for the next generation. I also feel like, why am I always working and I can't even afford the most simple things?
Right.
But I'm working, I'm a 34-year-old woman, I'm in my mid-30s, and I cannot see the fruit of my labor for 34 years. I can't see anything. And I want this, because obviously nobody knows me, so it's easier to talk about my finances here, but I just feel like 2020, I need to do something drastic to change this. I've been trying, but I still have really bad money habits, and I just need some advice, some good advice.
That's awesome. Yeah. We also have a Q&A at the end, so if you still have burning questions by the end, Victoria will open the floor for us to ask questions, because you might get more questions or start speaking, you might be learning a few things, and you'll be like, can you go over that bit again, or can you expand on? So be free. This is a conversation that we're all helping towards our financial freedom. So thank you for your honesty. Thank you, Sophie. Victoria, introduce yourself, my co-host.
Hi guys. Yeah, see me, don't mind the look. I didn't look like this yesterday, I was fully outside. But so I'm Victoria Taylor. I run several businesses in many different industries, but today's industry that I am more or less introducing myself on in this group is my company is Finding Directions. And with Finding Directions, I help people in terms of mentoring them for business startups. I worked in pupil referral units and offered them programs. When it comes to money management, I deal with all of that. Like, I deal with a number of things. We could be here all day, quite literally. But no, the reason why I wanted to jump on the call today, in terms of co-hosting with Dion, is because financially, especially what Sophie touched upon, is exactly what I wanted us to share with everybody, because right now it's really peak out there, and this is a great opportunity for us to be able to capture a lot of things out there in the markets and so forth. I'm not going to lie to anyone and say this is going to be a quick fix strategy, because it's not, and I don't believe in them. So if you're looking for a quick fix here, then this is not the group for you. But no, I'm literally going to give everyone informative information. By the end of it, you'll all have A4 piece of paper, which you kind of can't see my drawings on here, but I've decided to use a black pen and start the process again, so hopefully it'll come out clearer. But you will have this formula to constantly look at, which will show you what your goal is and how to go about it. So it's not just about me talking off your ears tonight, it's also giving you information to take away. So if you forget the process, then you know what to do. What I will advise everyone is, I'm not saying that this process is a secret, but it kind of is a secret. And the reason why I say that is because the rich don't want you to know this. Now, when I give out information, I normally give this information out to paid clients. So what I'm going to say to you guys is, with this information that I give to you today, keep it to yourself, because you have to bear in mind, the more people you give this information to, the more people are going to jump on the same thing, and then it makes it harder for us all. And it's as hard as it is right now. I mean, by all means, give the formula to tangible people that you guys know will utilize it, but it's just not for everyone.
Yeah, and share the video to people that will take it serious and action what we're gonna hear tonight. Yeah, this is gold dust.
Literally.
Thank you very much. I see Caroline joining us. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, my ray of sunshine. Welcome. We're just doing our regular welcome and introductions. So I wanted to know what has brought you to this session about money tonight. What has brought you here?
I am trying to start my own business. So I really want to. I don't want to fail. I want to be one of them business owners who's like, oh, I did this and I failed the first time. I want this to be like, as soon as I start it, it takes off and it flies. So I'm trying to gather as much information as I can to help me to succeed, because this is something I want to pass down to my children.
Right, yeah.
I want them to inherit my business.
Generational wealth, yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. So,
well, I will just pop in there, Kaveh, and let you know that if you message me privately, business mentorship is something that I do, especially for startups. And I have a lot of people that I've helped, and they're actually thriving. And I totally understand in terms of passing down to your children, because I'm in the same boat myself. So, yeah, if you hit me up privately, I'm definitely will be happy to help you with that.
Okay, cool. I will do. Thank you, sis.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Victoria. That is some good networking right there. And do share, Victoria, and do share your contact details. Do bear in mind this is going to go out to the general public as well. So,
well, good.
Comfortable in sharing in terms of your contact details.
People that are signed into the Pink Project, they can contact me directly through my personal number. Otherwise I won't actually give my work contact details at this moment, because of the coronavirus and everything is just flying off in many different directions.
Instagram, would you give your Instagram so people can DM you?
I don't mind that. There's not much activity on there, to be fair, but we can definitely sort it out in terms of people contact. I mean, I can give out the email address by all means and so forth, and then I can just give a number once you've emailed me to get in contact with me.
That's right. I think that's a smart way to do it. So thank you very much, Victoria. As always, we go through our ground rules and housekeeping, just so we have a nice and smooth call. I'm going to ask everybody to mute themselves here. Thank you, Victoria. We're waiting for one more person to mute themselves. Sophie?
Sorry.
That's all right. It's all part of the housekeeping. Okay. If you can find that mute button, that'd be awesome. The mute button is when the microphone, the white circle on your phone, just hit that and it will mute it for me. Okay, so please participate in the discussions, because it's so important for us to all have our experience brought to the table and to ask questions. No questions are silly questions. We're all here to learn and to progress, hence Women in Progress. So do participate. Don't wait for me to call on you. Just go for it. Just jump in when there is a gap for you to answer questions. Feel free to ask questions to Victoria as well, so you walk away feeling comfortable and confident in the information you've received. Also give each other chances to speak. Sometimes some of us are very laid back and we hide behind the screen. Others would talk a lot because they have a lot to say. But let's just be mindful. If you talk a lot, then maybe give space for someone else to talk before jumping in, answer the questions first, things like this. Please respect that we're all different. We all have different backgrounds, beliefs, different experiences and situations, different age groups. So let's respect each other. There's beauty in our diversity. So let's celebrate that. Have fun. You know, we're gonna definitely have a lot of fun near the end as we do our after party. If you want to chat outside of the video call, that's absolutely fine. You most of you, all of you are in the group, so you just network like how Caroline and Victoria just did, and just swap details in the group. Just keep it safe. Keep your mic on mute unless you're speaking. This kind of helps with the noise pollution. A lot of fidgeting. You might hear a lot of fidgeting, which can distract people. So just put yourself on mute unless you're speaking. And this session is being recorded. So if you don't want to be recorded, then obviously take yourself off video to keep your identity, I guess. Keep your face out of the video. So that's absolutely fine if that's what you want to do. And that's it. Shall we get into our breathing exercise to get us ready and present for this session? You can unmute yourself and answer. Are you ready, guys?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So what we're going to do, as we always do, is breathe in for 3 and out for 7. And this is about anchoring and grounding ourselves, giving ourselves permission to quiet our minds and to be present with each other, share the best energy that we have to give. And it's quite late in the evening and demands could be coming from left, right, center, but that's okay. It's just a moment for you to kind of just check in with yourself before checking in with the rest of us. So it'll just be for a minute or two. I'll guide you through the breathing. And if you're following this in video, you can do this also. So this is inclusive of everyone. Okay. First of all, we're going to start with grounding our feet. If you have your shoes on or slippers on, you can just slip them off. And just so your toes can feel the ground. If it's your wooden floor, if it's your carpet, that's okay. The second thing to start taking notice is your posture. If your posture is slouched forward, gently just raise your shoulders back until your spine is nice and straight. If you're leaning forward, just lean yourself back until you feel centered from the top of your crown to the base of your spine. Make sure that's straight. If you lean backwards, just pull yourself in from the navel until you can hold your core. And this is really important when we're breathing, when we're centering ourselves, when we're grounding, because this is where we need a clear channel so we can understand and be alert and be aware and focus in on our breath. So it's really important that we're not hindering our breath. And lastly, you can put your hands on your knees, on your thighs, at your side, on the table, whatever feels most comfortable for you. You can close your eyes if you want to, or keep it open. That's absolutely fine. So here we go. Breathe in for 3. And breathe out for 7. Breathe in for 3. And breathe out for 7. Let your stomach go in and out naturally. Breathe in for 3. Breathe out for 7. We'll do it 2 more times. Keeping your eyes closed. I want you to spend like a minute or so just being silent and just start listening to the sounds around you in this present moment. This is a time to talk to yourself also if you feel you need to talk to yourself to get you back in the room, to get you ready for this discussion. But try to be present, listen to the sounds. What can you hear? Really listen and find out what you can hear. And don't forget your breathing. You are alive. Every inhale, exhale as a sign of gratitude for your life, for your energy. Next, I want you to taste what's in your mouth. What taste can you taste with your saliva? Breathe in for 3. And out for 7. What about touch? Can you feel the fabric between your fingers or at your fingertips? Maybe you can feel your skin. These are all things that help us ground to this present time. Breathe in for 3. And out for 7. How's your body feeling? Is it feeling particularly warm? Is it tingling with heat prickling your skin? Or are you feeling pleasantly fine? We'll breathe in for 3 and out for 7 3 times, and then wiggle your fingers and your toes and join us back into the room. Breathe in for 3. Out for 7. Relax your shoulders. Breathe in for 3. And out for 7. Breathe in for 3. One last one. Breathe in for 3. And out for 7. Finish any conversations you may be having with yourself about being here. The list, the checklist you might have in your mind of things you've got to do after this. Just let it all melt away now. Just mute it. This is your time. This is your time to look after yourself before you can look after anybody else. When you're ready, just wriggle your fingers and your toes. Move your body, move your shoulders. Open your eyes and come back into the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a newcomer that's joined us. The newcomer, can you please unmute yourself and introduce yourself? Give us your name.
Hi everybody, my name's Annie.
Hi Annie, hello, hello. We have a newbie in the group. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. That's awesome. We just did introduction, so I just wanted to know what has drawn you or what has attracted you to this session where we're talking about money.
So since lockdown happened, there's a long list of things that I wanted to do before lockdown happened, and it involved saving, getting a mortgage, preparing for family, which I don't have yet. I don't have my own that I've created, which I'd like to, and a lot of that, finance is a big deal. So lockdown happened and threw everything up in the air, which also gave me the time to start learning. And one of the things I wanted to learn was shares. I haven't got a clue, and I'd like to, so I started learning, and this just fell straight in line with creating wealth. And financial freedom for me has been important, like residual income and passive income. Now I've got the time to stop. I can now look at my passive income ideas, which involve creating courses and things like that. And this falls in line with creating wealth, so that ideally generational wealth is what I'm hoping to hear from, which is new for me. It's a new thing to actually put into action, not the idea, but to put into action. So yeah, that's what's drawn me here. Perfect timing.
That's awesome. Thank you, Annie. Thank you. I think you've touched on a lot of what women in the room and women that be watching this will have to say. Generational wealth. Having a having a monetary foundation that is strong, that is sure, that can stand the test of time, especially like the lockdown, recession, and things like this. So the family looked after. Once they're gone, they still have money to thrive and to stand on the shoulders of your hard work and make that progress real and long lasting. So I definitely get that. Others are here to generate income so they can have more disposable income, so they can do what they want to do, pursue their passions, not always having to live paycheck to paycheck, you know. So yeah, you're in good company. So thank you, Annie. Thank you. Thank you. We just had our breathing exercise. Every session we do a breathing exercise to kind of get us mindful and present so we can give our best energy to the discussion. So I hope you managed to get bits of it, if not all of it. That's awesome. So our check-in, now is our check-in. So the check-in question today is, what does wealth mean to you? Everybody have their own kind of picture of what wealth is. Some people will be able to afford gold chains and go out to eat in the best restaurants, travel the world, be a jet setter. Others is be able to, you know, as Annie mentioned, have money left over for her generations to kind of work with and to put to add to in terms of keeping that creation of income coming in and being looked after for several generations. But I just want to know for you, for my, I'm a bit nosy, what is wealth to you? So anybody can just pop into the chat and tell me what they think wealth means to them.
I have never really given wealth thought, to be honest. Oh, has it frozen? I'm frozen.
You're not frozen. We can see you.
Oh, I wondered if other people were talking and I couldn't hear them, and then
No. You're good.
Yeah, so I haven't thought about wealth. I've been thinking about what is success and financial freedom and a lifestyle like for my life. I haven't thought much about beyond that. Like I have thought about creating property portfolios and whatnot to hand over, but I've never given the idea of what is wealth. What does it mean to be wealthy? Oh, my internet's dodgy.
No. I think we've lost Dion for a minute there. In terms of what wealth is to me, most importantly, one's health must come first. And, you know, in terms of health, without health, you don't have anything. Stepping outside of health, for me, it's abundance in all shapes and forms. So yes, I know obviously we're all here today to find out formulas as to how we can create tangible physical wealth in our hands. But, you know, wealth comes in all different formats. Like, for example, if you don't have your health, then what's the point of having assets, you know? So for me personally, wealth is health before anything, and everything else starts to follow because there isn't any one way in terms of obtaining wealth. So that's my take on wealth.
To me, I would say that wealth is being able to provide for my family, like my family back home and my grandparents, are being able to provide for them, and also to be independent, rely on my partner or friends or family to like bail me out, and also just to not, or even the government, just to be free from depending on anybody or any institution, just being able to know that whether I'm employed or unemployed, I have assets or investment somewhere. That's what wealth is to me at the moment.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Who else like to go? Everybody will have a chance to speak. Who hasn't had a chance to speak as yet? Just unmute yourself. Start speaking. Annie, have you had a chance to discuss what wealth means to you?
Me? Yeah. So I was saying that I've thought about financial freedom, but not about what wealth means. But I guess it's your estate. What gets split when you pass? What do you pass down? That's my understanding at this point.
So these are your assets.
Assets.
Okay. We're covering that tonight, so you're in for a treat.
Perfect.
Thank you. Caroline, what is wealth to you? Is Caroline there?
Record.
Hi, sorry.
No worries. There?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, just an echo. I'm just muting myself on my laptop. All right, go for it.
What was the question? What does wealth mean to me?
Perfect. Yep, that's the one.
What does wealth mean to me? I don't know. I feel I'm gonna be super cheesy and just say wealth is probably my children.
Wow.
I feel like everything I'm working on right now is just to have something to leave them, just to have something that something tangible that can be passed down and that they can own. So I mean, yeah, my wealth is my children right now. So everything, I mean, I've got insurance policies and everything. They're all beneficiaries. So, but I want to have something that I worked and built so that they can work and build and they can branch out and do whatever they want to do. But we have a base or a foundation to build from. So that's, my wealth is my children.
That's a really good answer as well. Thank you. Yeah, ownership. That's another key word that needs to be looked at. Ownership. What does it mean to become an owner? And then the other word is assets. What are assets? You know, how do we value assets? How do we protect our assets? And I'm sure that we'll get our tidbits from Victoria later on about that. Those are really good ones. I think for me, wealth outside of maturing into who I am or who I am coming into being, I would say wealth is very much similar to everybody, but I think for me wealth is ultimate freedom. Not only financial freedom, but I'm literally I wake up and I am free to do with my time and energy as I please. Money is working for me in the background, so I can just go forth and just live my life as intended, so I can keep growing as a person, and then also giving back as well. Become a generous person in terms of helping those who are less fortunate and teaching them how to build their own wealth. So that's my answer. So now we've covered our own definition of wealth. We're gonna continue the conversation by handing the torch over to Victoria. As Victoria said, and as I've mentioned, do have your pen and paper at hand to take notes, because this is inside information that we're getting today, highly valued information. So make the most of it. Write down your questions. If you've got questions, write down your questions. There's going to be a Q&A at the end, so everyone have opportunity to read out the questions. So Victoria, over to you.
Yay! All right, so I'm just going to throw us right in the deep end. So the first thing I want to know, guys, is why are we in debt? That's a question that I want 1 point from each of us as to why you feel we are in debt. And it's not a trick question. You can come from a personal aspect, or you can come from an aspect of what's going on in the economy. But remember to note these things down, because it will all fold into each other when we get towards the end. So who's gonna start?
Greed.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Very much agreed with that one. Next person. Don't be shy now.
Young and stupid.
Young and stupid.
Yes.
It's a good one, but can you give me another?
It's a simple question, but it's actually difficult to answer, you know. I actually don't know.
Okay.
I have to think about that one.
Okay.
Not having enough knowledge, just being very gullible. So if they asked me for when I was at university, if they asked, would you like a credit card? I didn't have any one to kind of be like, why did you need a credit card at 18? I just kind of was like, okay, no problem, and I'll just sign whatever. Like, I didn't have any, I don't know what word to use, but just gullible and naive.
Some very good points. We're warming up. We're warming up. Next.
Stubbornness.
In what way?
There was I took a contract out with Orange, I think it was at the time, and then I wanted to cancel it, and then I was still within like the 14-day cooling off period, but they tried to charge me the whole thingy.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, I'm not paying that. I said, because it's obviously still within 14 days. So we was going back and forth, and it's sitting on my credit file now. So like when I go to apply for things, I've got this orange debt on my account that I can't get rid of. Mm-hmm. And even though I've written emails and I've emailed people and I've been like, well, it was in the 14-day period, I've done all the necessary, all what they've asked for, it's still sitting there. So it's a debt that's attached to my name that I actually don't owe.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my mum told me not to get the orange account because she was like, I'll give you a phone. And I was like, nah, I want my own thing. So I went and did it, and then she got it for me. And then I was like, oh, okay, let me jump out of this quickly. And then, so just hard-headedness and stubbornness, that's me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say spending more than what you actually bring in as an income. So if your outgoings are a lot bigger than your incoming, then you're obviously going to be in a deficit, and then that usually encourages people to then go and borrow credit from a bank or a lender, which then continues the cycle of financial deficit, and that's what could create debt.
So, guys, you've all touched on some very good points, and they all tie into exactly where we're heading in with today's message. So, we're all in debt. simply for the fact that the main factor here is whenever, ever talk about financial freedom. We've all been taught to save money and most of all, accumulate debt. We accumulate debt by taking out a student loan to go to university. Now we're all starting to see that university is as a matter of an achievement rather than taking us anywhere in terms of these high paying jobs. Most of us end up going to university and literally not even using our degrees, which is a shame because you still have that debt. We then try to save in banks. And when we save in banks, there's inflation. And inflation causes our money not to go anywhere. On top of inflation, the banks don't even give you much of an interest on your savings. So again, not going anywhere. But most importantly, we all go above ourselves, and me not personally, but you've got the Instagram people. Everyone wants to look good on Instagram. New car, new house, new things, whatever it is. And that's all spent on finances, which is another way which accumulates debt. Then for those that think we're smart, we then decide to, I'm not going to take out any credit cards. I'm going to work within my means. We do that, but then we find that our means, it actually isn't anything because by the time we pay off everything that's needed, excuse me, we're left with very little. So it's a circle that keeps going round and round and round, which we can't get out of, which hopefully today, by the end, everyone should know, okay, so this is how I can get out of it. So today, what I ultimately want to do is teach you guys what the rich do, which the poor don't do. Now, when I say poor, I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just literally using these as metaphors to give us all an understanding. So in terms of the terminologies which I use, they're not directed at anyone, and I don't want anyone to feel away or feel that they're being targeted, because literally we are all in the same boat. So moving forward, what I'm going to ask you guys is, how do you think we can avoid debt? How do you guys think we can avoid debt?
I would say increase your income. Either have multiple income or get a better paying job, or having several businesses and investments on the go to kind of increase and buffer that danger zone of becoming in deficit.
Okay.
Being rational about decisions on purchases, like what's necessary, what's not, pacing it, like this whole Instagram lifestyle. If that's what somebody wants, not knocking it, but if that's what they want, you can pace what you need to have and just be smarter with the purchases, living within your means. So wherever that is, if that's based on a job at this point, then that's the case. And if you want to have more, then building in, like the last person said, was it Dion? Find ways to fund your addiction.
Hi, darling. So right now, just joined in, we're basically discussing how can we avoid debt. So right now, I'm asking everybody individually to place their theory on how they think we can avoid debt. Is anyone else going to come in? No? Okay, so in terms of avoiding debt now, we actually physically can't avoid debt because, let me put it this way to you guys. You may not physically be in debt in terms of your bills and so forth, but you're always in debt to the government because we have to pay things like taxes. When the government spends money that we don't actually have, we then end up taking the shortfall for that. So debt is something which isn't just accumulated from ourselves. It's accumulated out of means that stem out of our control. But then the rich now, they avoid taxes and so forth. And it's all legitimately done. But then us, in terms of the small people, we don't know how to avoid taxes and so forth. So debt is something which we can't escape, but there are ways to work around it. Now, also with debt, what you guys have to take on board is, everyone says, let's get a paying job and so forth, but how many paying jobs can you have if you're working from paycheck to paycheck? In order to keep yourself afloat, you're literally going to have 18 million jobs at once just to basically make yourself feel comfortable. And realistically, there's only 24 hours in one day, and we can't spend 24 hours working. It's just not possible. So realistically, that doesn't work either. So when we move forward now, my question to you guys now is, what do you guys regard as an asset? What is an asset to you?
Property.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, darling. Say that again.
Property.
Property, okay.
Something you can sell on that still has value. So you can rent it or sell it.
Yeah. Anyone
Side
else?
hustle.
What's a side hustle?
Just any like extra income. You could be, you know, doing hair, makeup, just anything on the side that's not your main. I know everyone doesn't do 9 to 5, but it's not your main 9 to 5 job. You have extra income.
Okay. Anyone else?
I would say asset is something that increases in value. Good assets anyway. You do have assets that depreciate in value, but good assets they always increase with value, and you can hold on to them for a long time, and you can liquidate it for cash if you needed
to. You've all literally given fantastic answers. Now, the truth be told, if I said to you the majority of the stuff in you lot's homes is just a complete, utter waste of time of it being there. You spent money on things which really can't do nothing for you. So, for example, those of us that love to shop, we're females. We like to go buy handbags and shoes and trainers and hats and you name it. And the truth be told is, those things is literally wasting your money. And it's those things that we spend a lot of focus on, not deliberately, because, you know, we all want to look nice and we want to be happy with our purchases. But the truth of the matter is it doesn't get you nowhere. Now, an asset is something which a lot of you quite rightly have said is stuff like property and stuff that you can turn something tangible into making money for the long term. Now, the most of us actually do have the ability to do that. However, we don't actually think outside the box to actually say to ourselves, oh, this could actually provide us with something for the long term. So as we move on now, this is where this is the exciting bit, because now I want you guys to tell me how you think you can acquire an asset. Now, I don't want everyone to just say, oh, property, for example. I really want you to kind of give me the formula of how you think it's possible for you to obtain this property. And once we've run through this last question, we'll then move on to the formula of how it all works. So how do you guys think you get an asset?
If you don't want to do it with debt.
Say it again?
If you don't want to do it by incurring debt, then you'd need to have the income to cover the whole thing. And if that's not from a job, some jobs, yeah, they get 100, 200 a year, and they can save that within 3 years. They've got the money for a whole house. But otherwise, you might want to start a business where you sell products, or a lot of money per time. Like some of these speakers, like Gary Vee and whatever, will charge silly money, the money for a house within one speak. So adding value to yourself as a person to charge, if you want to charge for your service, or set up a business. which could be like a management company where you could be taking a cut from other people that have a high value business, or sell products that have high value.
Okay.
Or multiple of them, many of them, like management.
Some good points there. Who's next?
Mm-hmm. I would say, did someone speak?
Who's next? Is everyone turned
Sorry, I
shut?
honestly don't know.
Okay. That's fair.
I don't know, to be honest. Maybe just, go to talks like this.
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
It's a good answer.
That's fair. To be honest with you, like, I don't want anyone to feel shy. Like, there's no trick questions here.
Can I maybe, I don't know, throw some stuff out there? What I've heard. So some people say, you can gain assets through credit. There's some credit where it's got low interest rate when you borrow, after, or 0% interest rate for a certain period of time. So you buy what you need for, say, a business, to start up a business, buy your assets, or you can borrow credit. I don't recommend this. Borrow credit and then give that money to others who need it and have it, and you lend it to them with inflation, and the money they make back, you then put back into the credit to make it into a debit again. I'm sorry if I'm using lots of jargon, but that's what the government basically does. The bank does. So you do it on a smaller, more domestic scale. You lend, you borrow credit to have money, to have start up that capital, and then you use the capital to invest in other people or to lend to other people with a higher interest rate than the bank, or higher than what you've got it. And then when you get your return, hopefully in a short term, what's best for, then the leftover money is yours, but you pay back without any crazy interest, but you've made money from borrowing credit. Does that make sense?
What about this? That's like basically becoming Wonga. But what is the legal structure that covers you if they don't pay you back?
That's why it's not a good one. I wouldn't say it's a good one unless you're a business and you have insurance for it. But I know that's what a lot of businesses do. They borrow and credit until they can start generating income, and then they pay back the credit and use the increase as their kind of profit. The other way of creating asset is buying at a very low cost, anticipating the market, anticipating what's needed, and then acquiring those things on a cheaper, from a cheaper suppliers or cheaper economy, maybe somewhere in Africa or Eastern Europe or China, and then selling when you hit the boom for demand. For example, I don't know, masks. You start seeing the coronavirus situation happening, and it's in China at the moment. But it's going to come over here. So you go to supply in China. Say, give me this bulk of face masks. You pay really cheap, and then when the coronavirus hits here, the mask, you sell it double, triple the price. You're making your money back because it's essential demand that you've anticipated and you bought very cheaply at a lower cost, and then obviously you get your interest as your profit. So those two tips on mind.
Okay, no, they're really, really good things. So on Dion's first point, it's more or less using somebody else's money to obtain what you want. Now, in terms of real estate and getting into property, you could take, okay, I'm going to simplify this. So let's say Dion's looking for a property and she comes to me and says that she wants a 2-bedroom house with a back garden and a conservatory. And I say, oh, I can get that for you. So let's say I've got no money, and the house that I want to invest in, let's say that costs, we're going to work with small numbers. Let's say my house costs £2,000, and I need the £2,000 to invest into this property so that I can have it. However, Dion, on the other hand, in terms of her property could cost £2,000 also. So what you would do is you'd go to Dion and you'll say to Dion, oh, you know, I can get you this house for £2,000. However, I'm going to add my interest on top for getting you the contacts, doing the research and so forth. And I'm going to charge you £4,000 for the whole transaction. So that £4,000 now enables Dion to get her house, and it also enables me to come up with the cash to get my house. So that's a short and simple way of how you can obtain money to buy assets with using other people's cash. Now, there's many different ways in terms of doing that. But again, I don't mind sharing this stuff with you guys, but to go through it all, it's going to take a long time. So I'm going to keep it short, sweet, and simple. When it comes to obtaining, let's say, money from a business, perhaps, like Dion was saying with buying things cheaply, one of the things that you can do is, like if we go with the mask situation, you can buy some masks really cheaply off of Alibaba, for example. And then you can actually sell those through Amazon. And then you can have the whole drop shipping and so forth. And again, you increase the price. Where you increase the price, you make profit on the item which you bought. So there's many different ways in which we can make money through a hustle. If it's not through a hustle, you know, these can be direct channels that we can actually turn into a business. Now, the nicest thing about, say, Amazon, for example, it's a platform whereby you can just buy cheap products. And the nicest thing is like with the face mask, for example, through this coronavirus pandemic, you know that the pandemic is only going to last for a certain amount of time. So to buy, say, let's say 50 masks, if you want to start off small to ensure that you don't create a loss, once you sell those 50 masks, you can then look at the market. If the market isn't selling any more masks because the pandemic has passed, and let's say the new thing is hand sanitizer, then you can then jump on and buy hand sanitizer in a small bulk and sell that. So Amazon kind of gives you a way to be able to sell things within means where you don't have much of a loss. And it also allows you to build a business profile with selling on demand rather than taking risks of buying products like, for example, fidget spinners right now. If you bought, say, 2,000 of them and fidget spinners isn't the thing, then you're going to have to find a way as a business to find a selling point to enable people to buy these things. And if it's not a trend no more, it gets harder to shift. So you might have to do things like cut yourself down by saying, you know, buy 3 and you might get the 3rd or the 4th free with it. And then that creates losses. It doesn't help you and it's a bad business strategy. So now that we've kind of touched upon that, I guess this is the main part that everyone's like, yes, let's get there, let's get there. So if we all get our pieces of paper now, and what I want you guys to do is I want you to draw a line down the middle of the page. So can everyone see this?
Yes.
Yeah? You can see?
Yeah.
Okay, so once everyone's drawn down the middle of the page, can we each draw a house? Now, we need to keep this small because we need to accumulate the space because there's going to be quite a bit of information going on here. But small enough so you can make out what it is, but also to give you space to put other stuff on there. So if we all draw a house, we don't need to do no pretty artwork. So just draw a house on one side. And then I want you to do the same thing on the other side.
So small pictures on both sides, in the corner or the top.
It's up to you entirely where you want to lay it out, but that's how my one is.
Okay, thank you.
And then after that, after you've got the house there, can we all draw a car on both sides? And then can we draw a t-shirt and some shorts on both sides? But please, now is not the time for that. And then at the bottom of the page, just in the corner here, can you draw two business buildings, one business building on each side of the page? So you should have something that looks like this. Then can we draw a little house and put the word bank on there? So you should have something that looks like this. Then next to the bank, can you put a £20 note on both sides? Then can we have a credit card? And a few little coins. So it should look something like this. And then can we put some food, i.e. a pizza? And pretty much everyone should have something like this. So before I move forward, can everyone let me know if they have that on both sides? If everyone's up to speed.
Hi, I've done some drawings on both sides. I don't know if you can see it.
Kind of make it out.
But
yeah, I can kind of make it out.
So I'm trying to get the mobile right.
Yeah.
So I've done on both sides.
Yeah. Is everybody else at the same pace?
Yeah.
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 Gina, Caroline, Annie, you guys are caught up with the drawings?
What I'm doing is I'm listening and working. I've got to carry on working, but I'm taking it all in and I'm going to watch it again and then follow. So sorry I can't take part, but I'm listening.
No, that's cool.
Thank you.
I'm in the same bracket as that, but I am here and I'm present as much as possible.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So now on this side, on your right hand side, can everyone draw a pile of doo-doo? But bear in mind, it's not a pile of doo-doo, but can you put it next to the bank? So, don't know if everyone can see that, but there's mine there. But please, go in the room and read. Go and read. Sorry, guys.
Is there a reason why we're putting poo by the bank?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There is. That's the cheeky thing at the end.
Okay. I'm just cracking up drawing poop on my serious notebook, in my serious notebook.
Now, what I want everyone to do is I'm going to hold mine up, and this is not a trick question. I want you to decide if you're on the right side or the left side.
Where we want to be, or where we actually are at the time in real life?
It's entirely up to you.
Left side, because there's no poop.
Remember, the poop is not actually poop. It's a mystery object.
I would say on the left. I'm gonna be on the safe side and say left.
So the left side is the side without the poo, yeah?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
the side I'm.
Okay. Somebody else?
I'm on the side with the poo. At the moment.
Okay. Okay.
Love it.
Somebody else?
I think they're all very shy.
It would seem so. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I just want you to put 2 stick people on either side. And then I'd like you to put £2,000 at the top of your page on each side. So it looks something like this. And you'll see my little stick men at the bottom there. Dion, do me a favor, because you're the only one that's drawing. Can you let me know when you're on the flow with me?
Yeah, I've done the stick people on the left and right, and I've written £2,000 on both sides.
Okay, so now what I want you to do is, but on the side that doesn't have the poo, I want you to put £1,000 by the house.
Okay, £1,000. Yes.
Then I want you to put £500 by the car.
500. Done.
Then I want you to put 250 by the clothes.
Uh-huh.
And then I want you to put £230 by the food.
Oh, by the food. Okay, I was anticipating the business or something. Okay, 230 by the food. Yes.
And then I want you to write the word entertainment.
Where?
On both sides of the page, just the word entertainment.
Okay. Entertainment. That includes cinema, eating out, family day out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with all of the figures that you've written by the car, the clothes, the food, how much do you have left?
Okay. So we have 1,500, 507, 1,750, 1,950, 80. So you have £20 left.
£20, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to put that £20 by the bank. Just a number.
Okay.
Then you see that nice business building?
Yeah.
Can you put the word work next to it?
Boo.
And on the other side, next to the business building, can you put the word business?
Yay, I like that.
And then what I want you to do is put those same figures that you wrote by each item on the other side of the paper.
Okay, so 1,000 for the house, 500 for the car, 250 for the clothes, 20 by the bank. Oh, sorry, 20 by the bank included. Yeah,
20, yeah.
Yeah, and 230 by the food.
Yeah. So you should have something that looks like this. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at the top of the page, on the side that has the work, I want you to write poor at the top of the page. And then on the other side, yeah, poor.
Okay.
And then on the other side where the poo is, I want you to write rich at the top of the page.
Okay. So I was on the wrong side. I was on the poor side.
I told you, the poo's got so bad.
You threw me off with the poo.
Are we ready now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put my on the table. Caprice, can you just turn this light on for me, please, darling? Is that clear for everyone?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I don't know how I'm gonna draw here, but okay. So we're gonna look at the side of the paw for a second, yeah? So we can all agree that we've got £2,000, yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what I want everybody to know, this is where we are. So we go to the nice place called work, and £2,000 is what we get monthly. Yeah? We spend £1,000 on our house, 500 on the car, 250 on clothes, 230 on food, and entertainment. We haven't got nothing there. Now, entertainment, we'll have stuff there. For example, let's say those of you that don't have a car, that might go into entertainment. So bear with me, okay? But these are what I'm just trying to reference here is these are the things that we tend to have in our everyday lives going on. Now, if we go to the nice £20 that we've got by the bank, this is all you have left. So what do some of us do? We go to the bank and we take out the nice credit card. So by your credit card, I want you to put £50.
I've put a little plus sign.
Okay.
So I know I added £50 to my poor side.
So now, essentially, all you've got in savings is £20. So you now have to pay that £20 towards your £50. That leaves you with nothing. So you're now minus £30.
Wow.
You then get your next paycheck and you're doing the same thing all over again. But what you're doing is you're accumulating that debt on that credit card because you're always left with £20. So you're forever in the minus and you keep trying to catch up with your credit cards, but it's impossible for you to do that for the simple fact being that £20 is all you've got. Now you could magically get a promotion or a pay rise or do overtime and clear the debt on your credit card. However, your shortfall is you still got £20 remaining. So forever, do you get out of this cycle? No, you don't. Then the rich now, this is what they do. So they have their house, £1,000 goes into their house. But if we go to this thing at the bottom here on my page, we have a business. So 1 month we have £2,000, but the next month we don't. We've got £6,000 because with a business, your income is never capped. With a paycheck, your income is always capped. So the business gives you, let's say, let's go with £4,000.
Right.
So if you would put £4,000 there. So if you cross out the £2,000 and then you keep your £4,000.
Right.
Now we've got the same expenses as you do on the poor side. However, if you now take the remainder will have, let's say, give or take £2,000 left from that £4,000. So what they do now is they may take their car. Now, like me and you, we're paying the £500. Now, what they do is they take their same car and they do this thing called rent it out. So if you put rent by the car, Dion.
Yeah.
So what do they rent it for? Let's put £1,000 by that £500.
Okay, now. Yeah.
Now, that rent for the car now, that rent could either be you renting out to your local community, in case someone can't afford to have a car, but they have their insurance, they have their license, then you can rent out. Or you could rent it to someone that's local within your area that wants to do taxi serving, like, for example, working for Uber. So you give them your car. But where you've rented out your car for £1,000, you not only have that person paying for your car, because remember, your expenses for your car is £500. So not only do you have them paying for your car, but you make an additional £500. Now, if you've got your room in your house, you can do exactly the same thing. So what they then do is they accumulate all of, oh wait, hold on. The clothes, can you put a big cross through the clothes? You
Say
done
that
that?
again.
There you go.
Oh, clothes. Okay, yeah.
Through it. Now, this is not to say the rich don't buy clothes, but in all honesty, they don't. They work with exactly what they have. If they've got 3 shorts, there's them 3 shorts that they have. It's totally unimportant at this stage because right now they're trying to grow wealth, not spend it. So that's why you might see the likes of Lord Sugar just wearing some simple pants and so forth. And everyone says, but he's got money. Why does he look like that? This is why. So he's got issues. So they don't buy no clothes. So again, there's no expense going there. So that's not to say there wasn't expenses in there, but we don't buy clothes every day. Whereas on the poor side, we find any excuse to go to a Primark. Now, I know we don't all shop in Primark, but I'm just using the cheapest thing here because some people are like, yeah, but we money save and we do this. It's still spending money. No matter how cheap you go, you're still spending money that you could be investing. So,
and the quality and the poor quality, you end up buying 4 times the amount. If you compare to if you bought good quality in the first place, it's a one-time expense.
But you know what's funny? Even though we talk about quality, it's quite funny because, you know, when there's an occasion, especially when it comes to women, it's like, oh no, I can't wear what's in my wardrobe. I have to look different because my friends or whoever see me in that dress on the last occasion. So I've got up my game this time. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's trivial things like that we kind of think about, which don't bear any fruits, but it's the excuses that we will use mentally to buy. The rich don't do that. So this is where it gets exciting. So now they've got £2,000 remaining from their paycheck from the business. They've also now accumulated £500 from their £1,000 for the car. Their car's paid for, remember. They've rented out their rooms in their house. So now their house is paid for. So let's say they rent the house out in terms of the rooms. Let's say they rent it out for £2,000. That £2,000 pays their rent for their house too. So what do they do with all of this money, guys? What do they do? Because they've got all this excess money. What do they do? So this is where they move into real estate. They go to the auction house. They buy a cheap property. They fix that property. Sometimes, I'm going to tell you the secret. Now, right now, we've got an economic crash. So if we have, say, okay, so sorry, old pensioners, but we're going to pick on them right now. Let's say we have an old pension couple and they are in retirement and they owe £2,000 on their mortgage right now in this current situation we're going through globally. And because no one's not getting any money, their pensions are being stolen, which is another thing that we can cross at another time on another topic. But their pensions are being stolen. So literally there's no money. So the government have now said, oh yeah, you don't have to pay. You've got a holiday period. You pay, once this crisis is gone. Now they've tried to go on universal credit, but they can't go on universal credit because they own an asset and the government's not paying for your assets, so they don't qualify. So now they're eating into their savings. Now remember, this is a holiday period. So after this holiday period, let's say come say August, in August, they now realize, oh no, we've spent all our savings on surviving and keeping the light and food and whatever the next and the other bills and so forth. Now, the one thing they haven't done is manage to pay the rent. Then the government come and say, well, now you've got to pay your rent now. The holiday period's finished. Now, where do they get this £2,000 plus the rent, which they didn't pay during that holiday period? Yeah, my face would kind of look like this. It's not.
It's stress.
The banks decide to come and say, well, we need our money now because the government's not bailing us out and we've got no money. So what do? They repossess the house. Now, once they've repossessed the house, this nice guy here can go to the auction house. Now, it doesn't always have to be auction. Now, the bank can only sell that property for what is owed. So our old age pensioners, through retirement, they only owe £2,000. So once the bank has repossessed that property, this person here can go and purchase that property for £2,000. It's a win-win situation. Now, when I say they purchased the property for £2,000, that is the complete price. There's no other additional costs and so forth. Yes, there will be stamp duty that's included in that and so forth, but that's something which is separate. You've got 14 days to pay that. The government right now are saying that they're going to give some respite period, holiday again. But yeah, stamp duty you have to pay. But give or take, let's just go with the fact you've just paid £2,000 for a house. So Dion, I'd like you to draw another house there.
Okay. Yes, I've drawn it.
So now, what do? They rent this house out. Now with this house, they rent it for £2,000. So now bearing in mind, this is now free money along with the rest of the free money, because remember, their car is paid for. They're getting £500 for the car being rented out. They no longer have to rent out the rooms in their house because now they're getting £2,000 from the new house that they've bought that they're renting out. Not only is that, but their business is bringing in lucrative income because, you know, you've got slow periods in terms of business. You've got peak periods where you're making loads of money and so forth. So business is good. So now what do they decide to do? They say, okay, we've got some free money. What do we do? So then this is when they come down to, see that pile of doo-doo?
Yes.
That pile of doo-doo is gold.
Love.
So when you put gold by it. So gold is an asset. And the thing about gold is it never loses its value. From you have gold, it retains its value. But the nicest thing is it goes up in value too. And the markets change on a daily basis, which means today you could have bought your gold for £5. You'll never get gold for £5. So, you know, but we'll work with these numbers. So you bought your gold for £5. And then tomorrow it could easily shoot up to £600. The reason being that gold is the real money. When it comes to us spending cash and so forth, it is not money. It has no value. We enjoy spending it. On the poor side, we go and we break our necks for it just to keep us afloat, but it is not money. Why is it not money?
Can I say?
Yeah, go on.
I was actually going to answer your question. So I've written about this. I've spoken on it about money itself. It's IOU notes. You're literally killing yourself for IOU notes. If you actually look at if it's a dollar bill, your yen, your pound note, it says, you know, I owe you. This note is standing in for the value of the gold. So £25 is not worth £25. It represents £25 of the gold in the reserve that's in your country.
Yeah.
So we're killing ourselves, getting ourselves heart attacks, diseases, depression, anxiety, family breakup, divorces over IOU notes.
You see? And you know the nicest thing about the English note is it says, please present this to the bearer. And the bearer obviously is our queen. So if she's walking down the street, she fully can say to you, can I have £20? And you can't tell her no, because it's a criminal offence and you can actually go to prison for it. Why is she asking for £20? But you know, if I was the queen and I could do that, I'll take my chances.
She does that in other ways. We won't go there, but she does that in other ways. She lives off other people.
Of course.
Notes.
Of course, but I'm not going to try to get political here because that can create a serious debate. But going back to the rich side now. So now they've bought their pile of gold. Now, every single time that they get all of this free money, they can keep investing in gold. So then this is what they then do. They then go to the bank. This is where they use the bank. Now, they go to private banks. So let's say a Swiss bank. Everyone, I love a Switzerland. Why? Because you can hide your things. It's not in the UK, so you don't have to declare it. And it's not illegal because it's not got nothing to do with the Brits. That's why everyone likes Switzerland. But anyway, so they'll go to a bank, a private bank, and obviously a private bank needs your stuff in order for them to grow. So they love to have your gold. So what the rich do is they go take their gold down there and they give them the gold and they put it in a vault. And that's how they use the bank. They never use the bank like we do to deposit cash or to borrow. Now,
about the gold. I spoke to some women about this, about budgeting and investment. And the what I get a lot, some communities, women said, oh, I've bought up gold in India, I've bought up gold in Africa.
No. I was just about to touch upon where's the best place to buy gold. Now, the thing with gold is, me personally, I use the Royal Mint because it's stamped and it's backed by the Queen. It does come with a high premium rate, but you have to ask yourself a question. Do you want to pay a higher premium rate knowing that what you're getting is actually real, or do you want to go and risk it cheaply? Now, a lot of us try to say, oh, we haven't got a lot of money. Isn't it better to have something than have nothing? No, it's not, because literally, I'm so sorry, but in this game, the rich are comfortable with spending money because in order for you to gain, you have to spend money. But when you think about having one bar, I didn't say coins because you do have coin collectors, but the thing with a coin is once it's melted down, it doesn't hold that much value in terms of what you could actually sell it for. You'd have to have multiple coins, and multiple coins, for example, you could have a 10-ounce bar. Once that's melted down, that's equivalent to the same as having 10 coins. Now, people think, oh, let me buy the coins because it's easier for me to afford that. And then when I've got 10 coins, I've technically got one bar, but it actually is more expensive that way. The best way to accumulate gold is to literally buy it as a block because the premiums are actually, they come down. Whereas if you buy coins, the premium is much higher than it would be for the bars. So yes, the bars are expensive. You can get a 10-ounce for like $1,000 something. So it is expensive, but at the same time, it's worth the while because, as I said, gold is something which goes up in value. So you're never losing out. And right now, in terms of the crisis, when we turn into a depression, like happened in America with Roosevelt, money was wallpaper on the walls. So if you think about that gold that you've just purchased now, how valuable is that going to be when money is literally wallpaper? So these are the things that you have to say to yourself. And in this game, you can't cheat yourself. You can kind of afford to cheat yourself when you've made it, but at the beginning, you do have to put the work in. Hence why I said at the beginning to everyone that if you're looking for a quick fix, this is not the chat for you. Like, it's just really like, it's not going to help you. So going back to the rich side, so they deposit their stuff into the bank. Now, they want to build credit. So if they want to build credit, what they do is they go to the bank and they get a card. Now, their credit card isn't limited. And the reason why it's not limited is because where they have a property, they have an asset. Now that asset allows them to bypass all the types of credit checks against their finances. Not only that, is they have a gold profile. Now, I just want to mention, it's not just gold you can buy, you can also buy silver. Now, the reason why I didn't mention silver is because silver is not as in demand as gold is, for the simple fact being that silver is used quite widely, like when it comes to our pots and pans and jewelry and so forth. So it's more easily accessible. So yes, it does have returns, but silver tends to do a lot better when gold is up high. So if gold is kind of low, which doesn't happen, silver's not really getting anything. So I personally, when I advise, I always say just go for the gold, because, you know, what's the point of getting the peanuts at the bottom? We're trying to move away from that on the poor side. So it's kind of like the poorer end. However, it is good to invest in silver because it still comes with its value. There's not just precious metals, which is just gold and silver. There is titanium, there's copper, there's loads of different types of precious metals that you can obtain. So it's good to look into the metal industry. But like I said, go to someone like the Royal Mint. Anything that you know is backed legally, go for those people. Yes, you can go to a pawn shop, but again, that's a bit risky. So personally, I don't mind sending links so everyone can kind of have a look at where you can kind of purchase this. I'll send you those links. That's not a problem.
Thank you.
So going back to the rich side now. So they'll go and take out a credit card and they'll go and buy another house. So Dion, I want you to put another house there for me, please.
Ooh, we got an estate going.
Now, this house here that you've just put there is a little bit more interesting because the next house, because remember, they've got a credit card.
Yes.
So the next house that they've got is actually a block of flats. So the other ones that they bought before was houses, but now they've bought a block of flats. Now with this block of flats, let's say they're charging everybody £1,000. No, let's say £2,000 because we do bills included. So in these flats now, if you have, let's say 8 flats, please help me with the maths here. 8 times 2,000 is what?
8 times 2. Just do 8 times 2, which is 16,000.
So 16,000. Thanks, cool. See my daughter, she's my little accountant here. So 16,000. So go on, Dion.
No, I just saying that's how it should be. Quick maths. Well done.
So that's £16,000 now. Now allows them to pay off their credit card very, very quickly, because remember, they're using somebody else's money to invest, but it's a quick investment for them because they've got play money already from their other assets that they own. So in terms of fixing up the flats to restore them, to enable them to be let out to other people, they've got the money to do that, which isn't the bank's money. So their turnover happens very, very quickly. So now with their £16,000, they pay the £16,000 or however much they borrowed back to the bank. Then let's say they still have excess money that they have to pay off, they would just keep accumulating their £16,000 and put in a percentage towards the debt on the credit card until it's paid off. Once that's all paid off, that is £16,000, which is again free money to them that they just got floating around. So what do they do again? What do they do with this money, you now say, considering they're still renting out their car and so forth? So what do they do? Now this is where it starts to get nice. So Dion, I want you to draw a car. Another one.
Okay.
Yeah, you done?
Yes, done it.
So this is where they get their Bentley. This is their Bentley. Why? Because they can afford it. Why can they afford it? Because they've got free money going on. Now, in terms of their old car, they can fully rent that out, where they don't have to drive that car no more because they've got their own Bentley. Then they can then buy clothes. This is where the Louis Vuitton and whatever next the name brands come out, they can then do that. And then the entertainment factor for them is taking vacations. Then they decide, you know what, I'm tired of the vacations. What do I want to do now? They get bored because this is just such a cycle for them. What do? They end up buying more property. Again, more free money. They then might decide to move house, so then you can add another house there, but that's your house. Again, you've got all your tenants paying your bills. Do you ever take any money and pay for anything? No, you don't, because everything is an internal system that pays for itself. But then, what do you have when you reach this point? You've got, this is why we need the stick man. So you've got stick man here on the poor side, and stick man comes to the rich man. And where the stick man comes to the rich man, can you please come out of the room? Can you come out, please? Out. So sorry, guys. So you have the stick man, and the poor stick man comes to the rich man, and he says, "Oh, can you borrow me a grand?" So Mr. Rich Man says, "Okay." So he gives Mr. Poor Man a grand. Mr. Poor Man's good for a minute. But what Mr. Poor Man finds is it's still not keeping him afloat, because he's most probably paid his credit cards, which he owed. And then he has surplus money so he can enjoy his life for a second.
Yeah.
And then what happens? He runs broke again because he's still in the system of paycheck to paycheck. So he comes back to Mr. Rich Man. And remember, Mr. Poor Man's like, "No, but I see all the assets that you have." But Mr. Rich Man says, "But I don't have any money." But Mr. Rich Man's like, "Yes, you do. How have you got all of these things?" And Mr. Rich Man says, "It all pays for itself." But Mr. Poor Man's like, "No, it doesn't, because you've got a Bentley and a Bentley costs money. So how is that being paid for?" Now, Mr. Rich Man is not trying to tell Mr. Poor Man the formula. So he says, "Sorry, but I can't give it to you." So if Mr. Rich Man continues to keep bailing out Mr. Poor Man, Mr. Rich Man will start to mess up the chain that he's built up with his assets.
Yeah.
The reason being is every single time that the rich man accumulates this, what we are calling free money, he has to ensure that he invests the money somewhere. So that would be in each payment he gets per month. It either has to go into real estate, into gold, or into a whole load of cars where he can eventually create his own Uber company. But it has to go into something. Now, the surplus cash that he has, he can use for entertainment, i.e. where the holidays and so forth comes from.
Yes.
Now, that's technically the only free money that he has. But remember, that choice to make that vacation is taken away from what he could use as an investment. But again, we got to live, man. So of course you're going to take the holiday. You know, and that's why when they take the holiday, they're getting the penthouse, because they know for the next couple of months, they have to keep reinvesting. Now, once you do this a couple of times, you'll have a portfolio, real estate portfolio, where you're fully laughing, because you see, after you bought this building of flats, you can go back to the bank once you've paid off your credit cards and do the same process again. And this is how the rich use the bank's money. So then what they do is they avoid the taxes. Now, why do they avoid the taxes? Because they don't get paid any income, because all of their money goes into their assets. So they can't be taxed. So that's why they're tax free. Because, for example, from their households, their money is being paid by other tenants. So all they do is they set up a direct debit. The tenants pay that money into that main account, and that main account gets distributed to the rent, to the gas, to the electric, you know, so no money is actually passed through their hands. Now, in terms of the business, they don't need to get paid from the business, because what they do is they invest that money into the gold, into the property. So you can't say they're earning anything. They start earning at the beginning with their business, but that was to get themselves started, to get their feet on the ground, to be able to gain the assets that they needed. And remember, they just started off with one simple house like me and you and a car. And they've used those things in order to accumulate wealth, in order to get them all of the other things. So this brings this to a close in terms of the formula. There are other things that are involved, but that's more or less
That was
Can't hear you, Dion.
that was phenomenal.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. As we're waiting for Dion to come back, this is the.
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm
darling.
here.
Couldn't hear what you were saying. It was breaking up.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you want to go into questions because we haven't got much time left.
About to do that. So, fire away with your questions, guys.
This is your time, guys. Use it wisely. You have to pay lots of money for this information. You get it for free.
So I grew up with this kind of information, and I read like Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I love the way that they're consistently doing that. I would like to know, how do you get from one side? How do we get into that side?
So basically, we have to start using our the things that we have on an everyday. So, for example, if you have, like, for example, a poor person. When I say poor person, I mean someone that's like off of the road. They need to get their job center money, for example. Without having a certified address, they can't get their money. So you could use your address, but they, instead of paying the post office for a redirect, they pay you, I don't know, a monthly income to get their post delivered to you so that they can get their payment at the job center. You could, if you have a garage in your house, you could rent out your garage to somebody. If you have clothes, for example, you can, rather than taking them to the charity shop and have the charity shop sell them for you, you can do a backyard sale. So I can't personally give you the keys as to how you can generate like wealth in terms of what you can recycle in your house. Like for me personally, like everyone's life is different. Like you could have, you could live in a house which is paid for and you'd be able to rent out a room or rent out your garage. You know, you could have your own vehicle. With your own vehicle, you can rent out. I was just saying this to my brother literally this week. I said to him, you've got your car. Right now, he's got to pay £800 a month on his car. And he's struggling to do that. So I said to him, do you know what? I know your car's really nice, but maybe consider renting it out to help, you know, him with the cost, and not only help him with the cost, but he can use that as a side hustle in order to generate cash, because you could actually generate a lump sum of cash, and it doesn't have to be thousands. And you could put that into buying gold. If you sit on that gold for, say, a year when the market's good, you can sell it and easily have a return of, say, £10,000. It's not, when we have this type of discussion, everyone thinks, oh my gosh, what do? I want to get from one side and get to the next, but it seems impossible because I don't have this and I don't have that. Like, these very people that start off rich, they play with other people's money. Like right now, for those of us that have businesses, right now we've got the bounce back loan. The bounce back loan is governed by the government. So when the banks are giving you the money, the government's already given the banks back the money, so it's risk-free. You could use that money to accumulate your assets, but you have to be careful because you have to know what you're doing. So some people might decide to put it in stocks and shares. Some people might decide to use the economic crash in terms of property as a way of sapping up property. So it's all entirely up to you. But the bounce back loan, I'm recommending it. I've done it myself. So I'm definitely going to use that as a way to invest, because loans like this, you don't get them. When it comes to loans, it's so political. The banks don't want to give you the money. And if they do give you the money, they want to know how long you've been running for and so forth. So right now, it's a very good opportunity for those of us that do have businesses to look into the bounce back loan. But fundamentally, like, there's a whole load of different ways that you can obtain revenue. And it's simple. Sell lemonade outside the front door. You know, it's a day right now. Pick up groceries for people in this pandemic. Charge them for it. You know, like, do your thing.
Do you do any courses on what to do with your money once you have the money?
Yeah, I do.
Because my friends and I were discussing, we're learning about shares and we're learning about gold and Bitcoin and all of that, just to get an understanding
And property has always been our thing, like to get a property portfolio. But now we're looking at different things, and it'd be great. Like I have a group of friends where we're studying it together.
Yeah.
Just on YouTube, just making it simple steps. So that would be really interesting.
One thing I would advise in terms of stocks and shares, everyone needs to be really careful with them right now. I would personally, and I'm not here to give anyone any financial information, so let me just put that out there. But me personally, I don't like to lose. So I'd say that it's probably better to buy shares within a company that's thriving. For example, Amazon, they're not going to go. If you buy shares, it's better than you trading in the stock market, because right now the stock markets are rigged and the Fed is buying up everything. So as soon as you're seeing them green lights, everyone's like, yeah, let's put money in. And then no, it collapses because it's not real. So definitely, if you're going to be in the stocks and shares, go into buying some shares within companies that are thriving, and you can accumulate wealth. But remember, it's a slow growth. It's not something which is immediate. In terms of when it comes to cryptocurrency, it's better for you to go on cryptocurrency that's coming up rather than going for the big ones like Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is very political, especially like that. I don't know if you remember about the JP Morgan and China situation. Like, a lot of people lost a lot of money because of China's scandal through JP Morgan. So if I was you, I wouldn't go for the top players things. Go for the small player things. Yes, it takes some time to grow, but you've got that safety net that when the big people are in a problem, that's when the little people come up. So that's how you have to see it. There's no such thing as a quick thing. If you wanted to risk it with the big people, you have to have a lot of knowledge in terms of that side of things. So I wouldn't try to be a big player if you're not. It's too risky, way too risky. I'm all about making sure that the people that I mentor, I make them play it safe. And then as they get more of an education, because I myself, I know a lot about cryptocurrency and so forth, but not enough to say, give me your money, I'll take it and I'll put it here. So the more people you meet and the more people you trust, and believe me, don't buy into these seminars that you can go to where they say, oh, come, let me teach you. I'll show you how to set up your profile. No, basically, they get a commission of setting up your profile. When you pay into your account is connected to theirs, so they're making money off of you. So you've got to be really, really careful. And it's a game that you have to trust the people that are advising you. So, you know, with everything, there comes risk, but it's knowing how to eliminate those risks. If you're looking to make a quick buck, then you're sure to lose more money than, you know, you were expecting. Slow growth, slow and steady wins the race. But right now, with the situation that's going on, everyone can really win right now. So even you and I, if you've got a savings of £2,000, don't feel you can't go into the real estate. That real estate, go to the house of auction. As soon as you see the housing market crashing, check out the auction sites and see what's selling, and go and snap them things up as soon as you can. You know, what's £2,000? If you've got it, use it. I know it's better for you to have a house that's sitting there that you've paid for, that you can build up over time with your paycheck and then put into that, but at least you've got an asset, and you've got an asset at a time like no other, because this ain't going to happen again. So no one wants to lose out. It's a win-win situation right now. And like I said, for those of us that do have businesses, with the bounce back loan, £2,000, like you can get up to 50k. They're not doing any credit checks, nothing. It's literally you put in your loan amount. If it's agreed, they'll give it to you. If they don't give you your asking price, they still give you something, and you can take that something and invest it. There you go, property market sorted.
When is the interest due?
So is this for the bounce back loan?
Yeah.
So you've got 12 months to use this money, and then in month 13, that's when they start charging you the interest. Now, what I say to people to play it safe is, if you get, say, a 24k loan, for example, please don't go buy a car and so forth. Take, say, £500. Now, that £500, offset that money against your monthly finances. So you have to see, can I put back £500 in the next, let's say, 11 months? Because in month 12, you don't want to be calling them up. You want to call them up in month 11 to say, here's your loan back. So you have to decide, can I really put back that £500 if I was to lose it? If you start off small and you gain returns, those returns you keep as profit. So by the time the 12 months have finished, when you call them to give them back their loan in month 11, your thought is, but you've made extra income as profit from using their money, which we spoke about earlier. You've now made your money that you can now play in the market with freely, which comes at no cost because it's your money that you've generated, but you use the bank's money. Now, in terms of if you do have the money and you can't pay it back, you can liquid. If you've got an LTD company, this doesn't work if you're a sole trader. If you're an LTD company and you can't pay the loan back, so let's say you took out £50,000 and you couldn't pay it back, then you can liquidize your company. The company goes bankrupt. It doesn't affect your personal credit file unless you've done some things that come across as personal. And there are ways around that, but I can't go into that right now. But no, you won't. The liability won't fall on you. It falls on the company. The company will go bankrupt, and that's done. You can still open the same business that you had. You just change the name, rebrand yourself, and your business, you didn't really lose it. But you're 50K up though, right? So when I say 50K up, I don't mean cash to go spend on your new cars, girls. Yeah, but you've got a couple assets behind you, which obviously moved over into your personal, so it won't be taken away from you due to the fact that the business went down. But you have to know what you're doing in that sense, because some people go and buy a car, for example, and then have that repossessed with the business, because the way it was done, it comes under the business. And if they're taking stuff from you, they have to take the car back because obviously it's money which is owed. So you have to bear that into motion. But there are ways around it. And I offer mentorship in terms of how that works, how you go about it and so forth.
Yeah, that would be good.
Can I just let you guys know very quickly, when it comes to your children, now everyone's that's trying to leave stuff behind for their kids, like I am. So if you live in a council accommodation, you can actually buy a property. Now you'd have to buy that property. For example, when this market crashed, if you got the house for £2,000, you'd have to buy that property in your child's name. You'd have to put a beneficiary on that trust, because the house has to be put into a trust. You have to put a beneficiary. It can't be you, because if it's you, then obviously you're in charge of an asset. So it'd have to be someone that you trust. Once that person is on there, that house is in your child's name, so you don't have to declare it because it's your children's assets. It's not yours. So you can still keep your council house, but you have a property which is making money. You can take a percentage of that money out of the trust, but you won't be able to claim everything because, again, it's in your child's name. But once you've basically got that one property, you've got an asset there which is making money, which could then allow, for example, your child to go and buy another property using the same formula that we did today. And then you could actually have that as your property to get you moved out of the council property. But before that time, you'll be absolutely safe in your property with you buying a property in your child's name in terms of through a trust fund. And not only that, is if anything was to happen to you right now, your kids still have an asset which is left behind to them in the events of, something dramatic happening.
Wow. I was going to say, thank you so much. Any questions, Gina, Annie, anybody else, Sophie, any last burning questions? Maybe Victoria can take one and answer really quickly, because we've come to near to the end of our time together. Ladies, any last burning questions? This is your time. Victoria charges once the video goes out, yeah? Once the video goes down, she charges. So get your questions out now.
Whilst everyone's thinking before they speak, I just want to say it was a pleasure literally co-hosting with you, Dion. It's something personally I wanted to do to give you guys this financial freedom and know the way out. It's a huge subject, and it's a shame that I couldn't cover everything because there is a lot to it, and finding a way to simplify it is very, very difficult. But no, hit me up privately and we can sort something out. But I want you guys to know that definitely you can do this. You can fully do this. You've all got the right mindsets. If you didn't have the right mindsets, you wouldn't be here on this call. So literally, I just want to thank you guys for hearing me out and for asking your questions and being a part of it and so forth. And I hope that I've managed to help you guys in a huge way after today. So yeah, Is there any more questions?
I don't have a question, Victoria. I just wanted to thank you. I was busy working, so I couldn't stop to ask any questions, but just thank you. It was really, really interesting. Okay?
You're welcome, darling. You're welcome. Blessed.
I'd really like to chat more, because I've got friends that would really benefit from this chat as well. Do you do this kind of thing often?
Yeah. I've been in the mentoring industry for, oh gosh, it's been a while. It's been a huge while. If you check out my LinkedIn profile, you'll see all the information there.
Okay.
But yeah, I actually wrote, like I said at the beginning, I own my own mentoring company, which is called Finding Directions. So one of the things I will share with you, this is not me tooting my own horn, but sometimes you got to do that. One of my clients that came to me, they came with a business idea and they tried and tested it and it failed. And after I mentored them at one of our business meetings, they came to me with an envelope. And I opened the envelope and they'd actually made me director of not only that company, but all the other companies that they own. So
wow.
The way how I've accumulated many other businesses as well as having my own. The two that I have are my mentoring company, Finding Directions, and I'm also a funeral director in my own funeral company, which is B&B Guy Coffins. But all my other businesses are attached to my clients because they decide, you know what, rather than losing you as an asset, we'll put you as a director so we can't get it wrong. So there's pressure, but then at the same time, there's no pressure. And I have Dion who actually back me with this because she's personally spoken to and met my business partner. And we actually funded one of Dion's events where we actually gave her a hamper from our company to hers as a gift. So, you know, I fully who I am. I don't like bull crap anybody. If I can't do something and I know a contact that can, then I will pass it on to you. And I myself, I have a mentor myself who's much senior to me and helped me to get where I am. And we speak more every week. So I'm always up with the times. I'm always able to find out new information and so forth. I have a very, very wide platform. So yeah, I can share those links with you guys and so forth. So I'm a good asset to hold.
Thank you good. So much, Victoria. We've come to the end of our session today. It sounds like everybody got a lot out of it. I definitely did. I like to think I'm quite clued up when it comes to wealth creation, but this was just the extra bit, and it gave me lots more motivation actually to kind of go beyond my comfort zone and actually look at investment from outside the box, as you said. So I've learned a lot more, and they've given me a lot more courage to kind of just go after things that I've been reading about, I've been studying, you know, I've been talking about, and actually do it for myself. And there's no reward without a bit of risk, you know, just calculating that risk. So thank you so much. Is there an email address? Is there an email address you can? Is there an email you can give at the end? Great.
Yeah, what I'll do is everyone can hit me up at Finding Directions at Solutions. Directions is without the S. At Solutions, the number 4u.com, and I'll put this information into the chat group, and I'll also take a picture of this and also post that for those that didn't get a chance to actually participate in drawing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.